Assalamu alaikum, dear students. In the last lecture of chapter 1, Units and Measurements, we have discussed scope of physics and need for measurements. Then we had seen units or measurements, which is nothing but the reference standard used for the measurement of a physical quantity which is said to be a unit. And also we have discussed the properties for a good unit there. Then we come to know about the system of units, and after that we have discussed about fundamental quantities and units, which is nothing but the physical quantities which do not depend on any other physical quantities for their measurement and is said to be a fundamental quantity. As there are 7 fundamental quantities: length, mass, time, temperature, electric current, luminous intensity, and amount of substance. And the unit of these fundamental quantities, which is said to be a fundamental unit, and it is given in SI system, and is to be defined as the units which is used to measure the fundamental quantities are called as fundamental units. After that we had discussed about derived quantities and unit. Those physical quantities which derived by using fundamental quantities is said to be a derived quantities. In other words, we can say that the physical quantities which depends on one or more fundamental quantities are called as derived quantities, and the unit of derived quantities is said to be a derived units. That means we can say that the derived units are those units which depends on fundamental units. Let's see the examples of derived quantities and derived units. The first example we have area. As we know that area is mathematically given as having length L as L square. As length is the fundamental quantity, and hence we can say that the area depends on fundamental quantity. By using this fundamental quantity length, we are obtaining the physical quantity area, so that area is called as derived quantity. And the unit of this derived quantity area, here it is to be given as length is measured in meter in SI system, and length square gives the unit meter square. So here we can say that the physical quantity which is said to be a derived quantity area, which depends on fundamental quantity length. Meter square is the unit of area, and meter is the fundamental unit. That means area, the unit of area depends on the unit of fundamental quantity, that is of length. So here we can say that the meter square, which is obtained by using the fundamental unit meter, here this meter square is said to be a derived unit. So we can say that area is a derived quantity and meter square, its unit, is a derived unit, as area depends on the fundamental quantity length and unit meter square depends on the fundamental unit meter. After that we have next example. That is the volume. The volume mathematically is to be given as having the length L is L cube, and over here, as we had discussed about the area, the volume is also to be given in the same way, as the volume is to be obtained by using the fundamental quantity length. So here the volume depends on the fundamental quantity length. That's why the volume is said to be a derived quantity. And the unit we are obtaining as meter cube. So here this meter cube, which is the unit of volume, as volume is derived quantity, meter cube is said to be a derived unit. And over here this meter is the fundamental unit, and the unit of volume depends on the fundamental unit. So this meter cube is said to be a derived unit there. The next example we have density. Density is to be defined as mass per unit volume. That is to be defined as mass per unit volume. As mass is the fundamental quantity, we had seen volume is a derived quantity which depends on the fundamental quantity, that is length. That means over here the density depends on two fundamental quantities, mass and length there. As in the previous examples, area and volume depends on only one fundamental quantity, that is length. But density over here depends on two fundamental quantities, that is the mass and length there. So by using the fundamental quantities mass and length, we are obtaining the physical quantity which is said to be a density. So this density is said to be a derived quantity which depends on two fundamental quantities, mass and length. Then the SI unit of mass is to be given as kilogram, and volume is to be measured in meter cube. So here we can say that the derived quantity density having the unit kilogram per meter cube. That means the unit kilogram and meter cube here that we are obtaining by using the fundamental unit there. Hence it is to be called as kilogram per meter cube is said to be a derived unit, as it depends on two fundamental units, that is kilogram and meter. So here we have obtained the derived quantity density which is having the derived unit kilogram per meter cube. The derived quantity density depends on two fundamental quantities, and the derived unit is also obtained by using the two fundamental units. So here we have defined the derived quantities and derived units, that the physical quantity that is to be derived by using one or more fundamental quantity, that is said to be a derived quantity. And here we had seen the example of area and volume. Here the physical quantity, area and volume, it depends on only one fundamental quantity, but the density which is derived by using the two fundamental quantities there. Hence we can define the derived quantities as the physical quantities which is to be derived by using one or more fundamental quantities there. And the unit of these derived quantities is called as derived units, which depends on one or more fundamental units. Now let's move to the next example. Next we have velocity. As velocity is to be defined as change in displacement per unit time. It is to be defined as change in displacement per unit time. As velocity is a vector quantity, it has magnitude as well as direction. In the same way, we can define speed also, which is a scalar quantity, and it is to be given in terms of only in magnitude and is defined as distance per unit time there. The way of determining derived quantity for velocity and speed is same. Here, as the velocity is to be defined as displacement per unit time, so here this displacement is nothing but the measurement of length, and length is a fundamental quantity, and time is also a fundamental quantity. That means over here we can say that the velocity which depends on two fundamental quantities, length and time, and by using these two fundamental quantities we are obtaining the physical quantity velocity. So this velocity is called as derived quantity there. Then next over here, let's talk about its unit. The displacement is to be measured in meter and time is to be measured in second. So here the meter is a fundamental unit and second is also a fundamental unit. That means the unit of the velocity, which is meter per second, depends on two fundamental units. So this meter per second is called as derived unit, which depends on two fundamental unit, meter and second. So here we have derived the quantity velocity by using the fundamental quantities length and time there, and the unit of the velocity is meter per second, and hence this meter per second is said to be a derived unit of the derived quantity velocity. Then move to the next example, that is the acceleration. Now this acceleration is to be defined as velocity per unit time, or we can say that it is nothing but the change in velocity per unit time. As we had seen, the velocity is a derived quantity which depends on two fundamental quantity, length and time there. Hence, we can say that acceleration is also a derived quantity, as it is the ratio of velocity and time. Velocity depends on fundamental quantity, length and time. Okay, and next it also again depends on time there. That means here the two fundamental quantities, length and time, is to be used to obtain the physical quantity acceleration. So here we can say that the acceleration depends on two fundamental quantities, that is length and time, and hence acceleration is said to be a derived quantity. Now when we are talking about its unit, so as velocity is to be measured in meter per second and is to be divided by time, the unit of time is second. So we are obtaining the unit of acceleration as meter per second square. That means here it is very clear to us that the unit of acceleration we are obtaining as meter per second square. Meter is a fundamental unit. Second is also a fundamental unit. And hence by using these two units, meter and second, we are obtaining the unit of acceleration. So here we can say that meter per second square is derived unit. So it is very clear to us that acceleration is the derived quantity which depends on two fundamental quantities, that is length and time, and the unit of acceleration meter per second square is called as the derived unit as it depends on the fundamental unit meter and second. The next example we have momentum as momentum is to be defined as product of mass and velocity. As we have discussed already, that is the velocity is a derived quantity which depends on length and time, which depends on the fundamental quantity length and time. So here we can say that the momentum is a derived quantity which depends on three fundamental quantities: mass, length and time there. As per the discussion, we know that derived quantities are nothing but those quantities which derived by using one or more fundamental quantities. So here in the earlier examples we had seen area and volume is to be derived by using only one fundamental quantity. Then density, velocity and acceleration we have derived by using the two fundamental quantities. And now we come to know the third type of example in which we come to know that momentum is a physical quantity which is to be derived by using the three fundamental quantities, that is mass, length and time. So over here, as momentum depends on or derived by using three fundamental quantities, and that's why this momentum is said to be a derived quantity. Now let's see its unit, which is to be given. Mass is measured in kilogram and velocity is to be measured in meter per second. So the unit of the momentum is kilogram meter per second, and here this kilogram is the fundamental unit, meter is a fundamental unit and second is also a fundamental unit. So we can say that the unit kilogram meter per second, which is the unit of momentum, is derived unit. As momentum is a derived quantity, so its unit is derived unit. The momentum depends on over here three fundamental quantities, that is the mass, length and time. So its unit is also depends on three fundamental units, that is kilogram, meter and second. So the derived quantity is momentum and derived unit is kilogram meter per second. The next example we have force. As we know that the force is product of mass and acceleration. Now the mass is fundamental quantity and acceleration we had seen that it is a derived quantity which depends on the fundamental quantities length and time there. So here the force we can say that a derived quantity which depends on fundamental quantities mass, length and time, and its unit will be as mass is measured in kilogram and acceleration has a unit meter per second square. So the unit of force is kilogram meter per second square. Here the unit which is to be given over here of force, as force is said to be a derived quantity. So we can say that kilogram meter per second square is also a derived unit, which is the unit of the derived quantity force. And on the other hand, kilogram is a fundamental unit, meter is a fundamental unit, and second is also a fundamental unit. That means the unit we have obtained of force, which is kilogram meter per second square, which depends on three fundamental units. That's why this unit kilogram meter per second square is said to be a derived unit. So here we come to know that force is a derived quantity which depends on the fundamental quantities mass, length and time, and the unit of this derived quantity force, which is kilogram meter per second square, which depends on three fundamental units, is said to be a derived unit. The next example we have charge. Let's see how can we say that charge is a derived quantity, as we know that the current is nothing but the rate of flow of charges in a conductor. That means the current is to be written as charge upon time. Hence, here we can say the charge is nothing but current into time there, as current is defined as charge per unit time. The flow of charge in a conductor per unit time is said to be a current, and hence the charge is to be written as current into time. Now, here current is a fundamental quantity and time is also a fundamental quantity. So we can say that the charge which is to be obtained by using two fundamental quantities, current and time, hence charge is said to be a derived quantity. As the charge, let us see the unit of charge. So the charge is to be measured normally in coulomb. And by using this formula, we come to know that the current which is to be measured in ampere and time is to be measured in second. So that the unit of charge is ampere second. So here, as the unit of charge which depends on the fundamental unit ampere and fundamental unit second, hence we can say that the unit of charge which is ampere second, and normally we are using coulomb for this. That's why the unit of charge is said to be a derived unit. The next example we have, that is the temperature gradient. Now this temperature gradient is actually defined as ratio of temperature to the distance. As temperature is a fundamental quantity, distance, which is nothing but the measurement of the length, is a fundamental quantity. That's why we can say that the temperature gradient, which depends on two fundamental quantities, and hence the temperature gradient is said to be a derived quantity, as it depends on two fundamental quantities, temperature and the distance. As the temperature is measured in Kelvin and distance is measured in meter, so here we can say that the unit of the temperature gradient which come to us Kelvin per meter, and hence it depends on two fundamental unit Kelvin and meter, so that the unit of temperature gradient which is Kelvin per meter is a derived unit. So here we come to know that the temperature gradient is a derived quantity and its unit Kelvin per meter is a derived unit. The next example we have impulse. As impulse is to be defined as product of force and time. As we had seen already, force is a derived quantity, and here we are using one more fundamental quantity, time, and by using this we are getting the physical quantity impulse. So here we can say that impulse is a derived quantity. Actually, force is the product of mass and acceleration. Mass is the fundamental quantity, acceleration is a derived quantity. As acceleration is the derived quantity which is nothing but the rate of change of velocity, where again the velocity is nothing but the rate of change of displacement over there. So here we come to know that the force, which is the derived quantity which depends on the fundamental quantity length, mass and time, and one more fundamental quantity we are using here to derive the quantity impulse there, that is the time. So impulse is said to be a derived quantity which depends on the fundamental quantity length, mass and time there. The unit of this derived quantity, that is of impulse, which depends on the fundamental unit, and hence here it is said to be as the unit of the force. Normally we are writing as Newton. This Newton is nothing but meter. This Newton is nothing but the kilogram meter per second square. Okay, so this kilogram meter per second square is to be written as Newton into second. So this Newton is a derived quantity, second is the fundamental unit, Newton is the derived unit, and by using these units we are deriving the unit of impulse, so that Newton second is said to be a derived unit there. The next example we have work. It is nothing but the product of force and displacement. Now force is the derived quantity, displacement which is nothing but the measurement of length which is the fundamental quantity there, and by using this we are deriving the physical quantity which is said to be the work done there, and hence work is said to be a derived quantity. And the unit of this work, as force is to be measured in Newton, displacement is to be measured in meter. So here we are getting the unit of work done as Newton meter. This Newton meter we are writing as joule. So here this joule or Newton meter, which depends on the fundamental units there, and hence it is said to be a derived unit. So work is the derived quantity and its unit is, which is nothing but Newton meter, is derived unit. Next example we have power. Power is to be defined as rate of work done, that is work upon time. As we come to know that work is the derived quantity, time is fundamental quantity there. So here the power which depends on the fundamental quantities, which is length, mass and time, and hence power is said to be a derived quantity. The unit of power which we are obtaining as Newton meter per second, and hence it is to be given as joule per second. As we had seen already, this Newton meter is said to be a joule. So this Newton meter is to be written as joule per second, and this joule per second, here we are using normally the unit of power as watt. So over here we are getting the unit of power which depends on the fundamental unit of length, mass and time. That's why the unit of power we are getting, we can write it as Newton meter per second or joule per second or watt. So these units are called as derived unit of the quantity power, which is derived quantity. The next example we have pressure. As pressure is to be defined as applied force per unit area. Force is derived quantity. Area is also a derived quantity, so that we can say the pressure is said to be a derived quantity there, as it depends on the fundamental quantities length, mass and time. When we are deriving its unit, so here we can use the unit of force. Normally now we are using as Newton, which is the derived unit, and area is to be measured in meter square. The unit of area is meter square. So the unit of pressure we are deriving as Newton per meter square. So here the unit of pressure we are deriving, which depends on the fundamental unit of length, mass and time there. That's why this Newton per meter square is said to be a derived unit, and pressure is called as derived quantity. So in this way, by using fundamental quantities and units, we can determine derived quantities and units. Derived quantities like kinetic energy, potential energy and many more. So here we have discussed all about derived quantities and derived units. The chapter will be continued next time in the next lecture. Thank you.